Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to this episode of A Woman's Prerogative. I am a new co-host. I was before I was a full-time panelist, so I am the new co-host with Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK of A Woman's Prerogative from this time on. So Carolyn Heward has left. She is doing some wonderful projects right now, so we do it like this from now on. So we're here, we provide high-class education for all our viewers and encourage our followers to have access to free content that will help them in their journey. This episode is about navigating tug of joy and melancholy after the holidays. We are in collaboration with E360 and our USA Global TV is viewed by over 106,000 followers on YouTube. I invite you to subscribe naturally. We are also watched on LinkedIn, on X, on Facebook, and Instagram. We are broadcasted in over 60 countries and in over 10,000 live stream shows. This show will be with Dr. KERBECK and myself. Dr. KERBECK is founder of this station and producer. She teaches elevating listening and is the #1 best-selling author of several books. She was awarded the Silver Created YouTube Award in 2025 and is an ambassador for peace. So here I will let Dr. KERBECK introduce herself more. You will find her amazing.
Hello and welcome, Reverend Lydia. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. It's great to be on the other side of the screen for a change.
Oh, my pleasure.
Well, you know, A Woman's Prerogative has a very long-standing history, which we started this show with, I think, 6 or 8 different women, maybe 4 years ago, and it's really evolved. And now we actually have 2 separate episodes of A Woman's Prerogative. So we have this episode that you were doing with Caroline, and then I do an episode with Mariska Dupria, who is in New Zealand. So I'm excited to continue this journey as we continue to talk about really powerful and meaningful topics like today's post-holiday blues, mental health, faith, and support. So I'd love to just dive into it. What do you say?
Oh, let us go. Let us do it. That is amazing. So I will let you start with the subject because it is a very interesting subject. I will let you start with the subject. So what do you have to say about that wonderful subject?
Well, it's interesting because at this time of year, many people have just returned or in the process of returning to whatever it is they were doing normally before the holidays. And of course, the holidays come at a time of year when there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of financial outlay in some cases, there's travel, but for many people, it's not the happiest time of year. And of course, that's another show. What we're talking about today is people who actually have had enjoyment through the holidays, and now they're struggling with something that we call the holiday blues, where things are not as busy as they used to be, or maybe there's fallout from actually having celebrated the holidays. Maybe that means that they're now going back to work. And depending on where you are in the world, it could be getting dark at 4 o'clock or 4:30. And maybe it just seems like the daily grind and all the excitement from the holidays has ended. And now it just seems like there's nothing to look forward to. Reverend, what do you think?
Well, I think you are right about that. And there's also the social mirage, actually, that is that everyone is supposed to have had a wonderful holiday. So they post memories, they post beautiful pictures, and it is not always the case. So there's that mirage that actually people have beautiful holidays, but some people have the blues because they actually are tired. They celebrated a lot. They did a lot of outings. It cost them a lot of money. They gave many, many presents, and they did not have the income to give that many presents. So they have the blues because now they receive their credit card statements, and it is now the time to face it. And it is very difficult for them.
Absolutely. And something else that you and I talked about backstage, there are times when people will make commitments or for New Year's resolutions. And I noticed this at the gym. I was in Virginia where my family's located, and I was at the gym on New Year's Day, and the place was a mob scene. It was absolutely packed. And I know from being a fitness instructor and a personal trainer for many years, I know that soon, probably 3 weeks or 4 weeks from now, it will not be the same. And so people get depressed about that because they think, oh, you know what? I set myself up to win for 2026 and it didn't happen. And of course, nothing's going to happen if you don't have a viable plan and you don't have a why. So that's why I've encouraged people not to set New Year's resolutions, because unless you're actually going to take the action to move forward, to see the process and the progress, then you're going to end up with the blues.
Exactly. You're right about that. That is always, this is pretty much always the same thing. And also, people traveled. They are extremely tired because of all the traveling. You do a lot of traveling, you know what it is. So you know that, traveling, actually, you have to time zones, different days, like New Zealand, that is one day ahead. So when people actually travel to very long distance country, they actually have a lot of trouble coming back to their routine. And after that, they have to face the fact that they have another 6 months to work to get back on vacation. So this is difficult for them.
Absolutely. And I think another aspect of the holiday blues, I mentioned to you that on New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, I actually was home. I was not going to go visit my family because of a few people were ill. And I was sitting here watching some comedians. And then I thought, you know what? I've heard a lot of raunchy language and jokes. I have to have something pure. So I put on a Charlie Brown Christmas, which I don't believe I've ever seen before. And there was the Christmas tree, the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. And my mother used to talk about her Charlie Brown Christmas tree. So I decided, you know what? I want to go and see my family. But for some people, they don't have family to go see. They don't have places to go. And I know that there are many people who will say, well, if you have a higher faith, if you have a higher calling, that the holidays themselves really have more in-depth meaning. And so I encourage people to tap into that when they can. But being alone is being alone. Even if you do believe in a higher power, you can see there is no one there. And so for some people, just to go out and be with others and not have that so much alone time or that loneliness, and then they come back to it, that's a tough adjustment.
Yes, it is. I know for a fact because I was 14 years where I was alone on Christmas. And but I did not feel alone, and but everyone else thought, must be so terrible for you to be alone. It was not for me, but I was sorry for those that actually had to face Christmas and New Year's Eve on their own. It was I was adapted to being alone. I'm a person that actually has no problem with loneliness because I do not feel lonely. So the fact is that being at Christmas alone, New Year's Eve alone, the 1st, the 25th alone, is very, very difficult. So what we did, us, is that we went into my father-in-law's retreat. It was wonderful. He is 96 years old, and we had so much fun. It was wonderful. So, and he was so happy. So it was wonderful for us.
I love to hear that. That's beautiful. It's interesting because I think it's always about perspective as well. We can choose how we're going to show up. We can choose what our mindset is going to be. And so I know for some people it's much more comfortable to go back to a place of focusing on what we do not have. But if we focus on what we do have, then there's so much to be grateful for. And so I just want to say this in all sincerity. I know there are people out there who are struggling with mental health issues. And so I'm not speaking to them because they're on their own journey where hopefully they are getting some help and they have people who can support them. But for people who are going through life and it's the daily grind and there are things to complain about, what if we just focused on what we do have? And for me, I really feel this way, Reverend. I wake up and I say to myself, wow, I can see, I can hear, I can breathe, I can move my legs, I can walk, I have another opportunity to make choices. And so for that, I'm very grateful.
And you are right. You're absolutely right because I know you. I know you are always grateful. You are that kind of person. You're an optimist. So that is it. You are that kind of person that wakes up in the morning and you are a happy person all the time. So I know you for being like that. But the thing is that we are both like that, but some people they never feel grateful no matter what they have, they never feel grateful. And as you said, some people are struggling because of mental health issues, and those people actually need help. They need help because it is a very difficult period. It is a very difficult time for them. And people have to be around for them because they are struggling and they are in danger. Actually, they're in danger by the mental health issue, which is different from having the blues, completely different from having the blues only.
I'm so glad that you brought that up because there is definitely a difference. So, you obviously are a reverend and you're also an empath and you're very spiritual, you're a healer. You encounter people who are going through difficult times. What are some of the things that you offer to help people going through challenges like the holiday blues?
Well, the thing I do actually, they can call me. They can call me at 1514-582-6882 and email me because I do consultations on Zoom and I can actually do a consultation on Messenger also. I can listen to them. The best thing is to listen to them. We cannot fix their problem. The important thing is being able to listen to them because they have their own solution. We just have to guide them for them to find their solution because they have it. And we have to help them find happiness in things that look pretty dark So sometimes the pit is so profound that actually they do not see any light. So since I worked in psychiatry for several years, I know the difference between someone that only has the blues and someone that is very, very depressed. And we treat them completely differently. It is very different. We have to listen to them. We have to, and we have to know something. If they are in difficulty, real difficulty, we have to send them for medical help. There are helplines. Yes, there are. And in any country, there are helplines, but it is our obligation. If we see that someone needs more help than we can offer, we have to stop playing the ego game and send them for medical help because that is the place where they will get better.
I'm so happy that you shared that there is a difference between, I guess, being clinically depressed and having the blues. So is it correct? Is it accurate if someone is going through the blues that this is temporary and maybe there are things that we as individuals can do to address that? Whereas if someone's clinically depressed, it may mean getting help from someone who is an expert in that field.
Yes, there is a difference. That is it, because it's all about dopamine, adrenaline, things like that. It's a chemical problem. When there is depression or things like that, it's a net. It is chemical in the brain, so they need medication. They really need medication. While if they are only having the blues, they are going through a tough period. We can listen to them. They do not need medication at all. They just need someone that is there for them, that holds their hand, that is listening to them. Because the ones that are depressed actually can go very far in their difficulties that sometimes can lead them to actions that cannot be reversed. So we actually have to be very careful to decide, are they depressed or are they only having the blues? But only having the blues is quite light, because the thing is that having the blues is difficult also for someone, because they're going through the blues. So whenever they have the blues, we cannot just discard it and say, you only have the blue holiday blues. We have to listen and be good to them. We have to be there and register the feeling that we have to acknowledge that they are suffering.
Thank you for that, Reverend Lydia. And you really hit on something that touched me. As you know, I spent a lot of time teaching people how to listen at an elevated level, and you're an elevated listener. Sometimes all it takes is someone to listen. And what I've found is people are constantly talking over one another, or it becomes something from an ego place where, oh, I'm right. Oh, I have the answer and you don't. And sometimes when this happens, the other person starts to feel so small. It's almost like they're shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. They're invisible because the other person will not listen to them. So, what are your thoughts on that in terms of someone having the holiday blues and really needing to confide in someone, and yet the person tells them, there's nothing wrong with you. Just get over it. Just move on.
Well, the only thing I have to say about that is that they have to learn that if someone talks to them, they have to listen, not listen to answer. There is a difference between listening to be helpful and listening to answer to serve their own ego. This is, they do not necessarily want your opinion, they just want for a presence to be there for them. So we have to learn that we listen not to answer, but to be there, all there, be in the present moment and not do a thing.
I love that. Thank you so much for that explanation. We are actually going to go to a short break right now. And I have to say, from a place of love in my heart, since I'm producing the show, I'm going to share just a short clip to my new song that can be downloaded on Apple iTunes or on Spotify. It's called Please Listen to What I Say. Let's take a listen. We'll be right back.
Listen, babe, now. 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 Listen, babe, now.
Very nice.
Thank you. You know, I'll tell people, hey, why don't you listen to this? They don't even know that it's me. So I don't know what that means.
Well, it is. Well, the thing is that, your Dr. Jacalyn, listening mentor. The thing is that they do not think that you are doing any music. So you have so many hats. It is impossible to fathom the fact that you also sing. So that is why they can say, I would never have thought it is you, because you have so many purposes. You have so many things that you do. It's always amazing. It's always surprising.
Well, thank you. It was definitely a dream come true. And I have to thank Dr. Madeline Chan, because she's the one who believed in me. And so I think, going back to holiday blues, what do you think, Reverend, about how important it is for us to believe in ourselves instead of needing outside validation? So in other words, we know the holidays come up every year, right? We know we have a choice. Are we going to engage? Are we going to spend money that we don't have? Are we going to book trips that we can't afford? Are we going to be taking time off from work? Whatever the case may be, we have choices. And then knowing that the holidays end and that January 1st is coming, we can actually, I believe, set ourselves up for success by setting boundaries. And the boundaries basically are, you know what? This is how I'm going to act. This is what I'm going to spend. I'm going to stay within a budget. I might have to say no to some invitations. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to be grateful that I had that opportunity. I'm going to focus on what I'm doing in 2026.
Exactly. That is the way to do, actually. The thing is a person has to say no. And as I always say, no is a complete sentence. They do not have to justify everything, all the reasons that they have not to be there, not to offer gifts. They have to, if their budget is $35 for a present, it is $35. They do not have to go overboard. They have to let go of some. Sometimes they give gifts to everyone. Well, it is not the case. Sometimes they should let go about giving gift to everyone.
Yeah, that's so true. Why do you think it is that we spend money that we don't have? I mean, I actually could answer this question because I did it for a very long time. It's like, oh, I need to buy those shoes. Oh, I need to have that designer bag. And meanwhile, if I could show you the amount of shoes that I have that I don't wear and the designer bags, and it's like, wow, I wish I didn't waste all that money. But yet during the holidays, it's like, okay, we have a limit of how much we're going to spend on each other, or maybe we're going to buy each other 1 or 2 gifts. And then people show up and they've got 10 gifts and they went way overboard. So why do you think it is that we do that?
We do that because we want to be loved. This is buying love. We think we are not enough. So we give more presents, and we actually think that by giving more, we will be loved. So that is pretty much the answer.
Does it work?
Nope. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You see, I'm choking on it because the thing is that it means I'm doing it.
Listen, I've done it as well. It's but we can't buy love. We can. And so one thing I want to share, which is so meaningful to me, is when I went to see my family. I've got two great nieces and a great nephew. And the experience I had with them, I don't have any children myself, just being with them and crawling around on the floor and playing doctor and at the hair salon and teacher, and it's like something I can't even explain. And so one of my great nieces came running towards me when I walked into the room, and she threw her arms around me and she said, "Hi, Aunt Jackie." I I can't even tell you what that felt like. It's priceless. No one could buy me anything in the world that would equate to how I felt in that moment.
Oh, yes, I understand. I really understand because I have a grandson that has autism. And when I see my grandson, I just go berserk because he has a bundle of joy. So I understand so well what you mean. So well.
So, what can we share with our viewers about the fact that while we think running the credit cards up or cleaning out our bank account to a certain degree to buy things versus actually being present with someone and maybe giving them that gift of being fully present and listening is worth so much more, or even a handmade gift?
Well, I have a suggestion for people that are just too busy. Why don't they give them a voucher of so many hours to the person? So they can give them a voucher. I will give you 20 hours of my time during the next 6 months. Do you not think that is more valuable than a gift? I
Absolutely.
think
I love that. I love that I will be totally present and focused here for you for 20 hours, as
yes.
opposed to giving something that's going to go into a closet, or it's going to go into a drawer. The amount of time that we give to people where we are fully present, which, by the way, I really worked on that a lot while I was visiting with my family. I didn't have my phone around me for most of the time because I thought, you know what, either be present or don't be. But to be with someone and they're constantly scrolling on the phone, that can make you feel isolated as well. It's kind of like, oh, I'm not that interesting, that you don't want to hear what I have to say, because we know you can't do two things at once. You can't be scrolling on the phone and listening to what someone's saying. And so I thought you and I talked about this earlier. Let's talk a little bit about the social media aspect when we see people over the holidays and everybody looks so glamorous and everyone's having a great time. I know myself, there's one picture of me where I got my hair done and I had them take the picture 7 times so that I look just the way that I wanted to look. So
Well, I understand you because I took one picture when I was with my spouse's family. I look ridiculous on the photo, but the thing is that usually I would ask for a retake of the picture 1,000 times to look good on a picture. But this time, you know what? I did not ask for a retake. Even if I do not look good on the picture, I did not ask for a retake because I was thinking that moment is so precious. I cannot retake that moment. That is how I look. I cannot retake that moment because the moment was a present moment. It was a moment of joy. It was not a moment of appearance. That is how I decided to think during those holidays.
I really admire that. I love it, actually. I know for me, I was hoping that I could use that photo for my website and also for my passport picture, which I did. So, but there are times when people are sitting alone, and so they're scrolling through things, and it looks like everybody's having such a great time. Everybody's on a trip. Everyone is with their family. They're having these huge meals. They're ringing in the new year, and it's almost like, oh, I don't have that. Oh, I'm just a loser. And so then the blues start to come in. So, what are some things that we can suggest for people to think about now as we just finished the holidays so that people don't have to go through this again? Or do you think it's cyclical and people just have these blues every year?
Well, what we can think about is that when a person has those pictures of a holiday, those wonderful holidays, those wonderful, amazing holidays, you can ask yourself, do they really have the means to have those holidays? So you have to think about, is this just to feed their postings on Facebook, or were they able financially to afford that? And will they struggle for the next year to pay for those holidays that they actually went at Christmas? So we have to think about that. The fact is that it looks good, but is it really good? That is the problem. Now, the thing is that, we play a game, a funny game, and it is more fun sometimes than going on a really amazing trip. So the thing is that we have to decide, what will we do actually to make things better? And what will we do to make things better? Because the thing is that people do things during the holidays to look good that they cannot even either afford, do not have the time, or rush, or they do not. You can't imagine all the trouble they go through to actually get those pictures on Facebook or social medias.
Very true. And something I'd like to share just on the reverse of that, because as a peace ambassador, I take a lot of training, and the last training was focused on analyzing fake news. And so I think some of the things also that get people worked up, or get them sad, get them angry, is they see something and they haven't taken the time to fact check with 3 different references to see, is this even true? And they're already in a certain state of mind, and then they see something and it just sets them off. So wherever their baseline was, now their baseline is way down because they're set off by social media. So I would just like to say to people, you don't know that everything that you see, whether it's beautiful or it's frightening, if it's actually true. So you have to do some fact checking. I just saw a post about this couple, and they were in the water. I think it was a father and daughter, and they were surrounded by dolphins who apparently were trying to keep them safe from the shark. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
And from what I read, it wasn't actually true. It had happened many years before, but it was done by AI. So I didn't get a chance to research it, but I was reading the comments, and someone wrote, oh, this was from whatever. I think it was another country, Australia or somewhere. I don't know, so don't quote me. But the bottom line was, I thought to myself, okay, I don't have the time or really interest to fact check this. But in my mind, I'm thinking it's probably not accurate. It's probably AI. So whether you see someone looking absolutely glamorous, which, by the way, I've seen so many people completely changing their image through artificial intelligence. And I know some of the people, and I'm looking, I'm like, wait, that's not you. Like, what? So just think twice before you see things, and take the time, if it's really important to you, and double check, is it actually true? And so that brings me back to something that I'd love to have us chat about, which is, when we look at the truth, sometimes we only take part of the story because it aligns with what we believe. But yet there's a whole backstory that we just decide to skip. And so someone mentioned to me the saying, the phrase, curiosity killed the cat. And I didn't know there was another part of that, and satisfaction brought it back. So all these years, I just thought that curiosity, so if you're curious, that's something that can come back to haunt you. But it turns out, and satisfaction brought it back. So my point is, unless we know the whole story, we can get ourselves completely worked up into a state where we are no longer present, and we are just highly volatile and emotional. What do you think, Reverend?
Yes, we can become very emotional about a problem or fake news. And, but the thing is that, we cannot take everything personally. We have to be very careful. And all depends on what is the news also. is it really going to affect the entire world? Will the news be something that is worth losing sleep over? If it is not something that is worth losing sleep over, and if it's not something that you can change personally, if you cannot change it, well, just stick to the facts and verify the facts, because us as registered nurse, what we are allowed to put in our notes, we are only allowed to write facts. We are not allowed to write about emotions. So everything has to be facts. They have to be verified. They have to be logical and measurable. So the thing is that is how we write notes as registered nurses. So everything has to be either verified, measurable, or they have to be super verified, the same as police officers. So that is the way we think. That is the way we think with our logic. Will we actually think it is logical? If it's not logical, well, forget the emotions about it. That is the way it is.
Thank you for sharing that, Reverend. What do you think about using social media to vent your feelings? So, if someone is going through the holiday blues, is it a good idea? Is it healthy to actually put all of your feelings into a post and put it on social media?
Absolutely not.
Okay, could you speak to that,
Absolutely.
please?
The thing is that, if you actually have any kind of feeling and you're posting how you feel. When you think about people that break up, let's say someone has a breakup, then they vent about their breakup. Then there you see all those posts about their breakup, about this, about that, and all of a sudden, aha, they're happy again. But the thing is that you have read posts about how unhappy they were for 3, 4 weeks, and all of a sudden, ha ha, they fell in love again, everything happened. But the thing is that, if you see someone that vents over and over and over, you can do something. You can actually say, instead of venting on Facebook, do you want to vent with me? Do you want to talk to me, instead of like telling the entire world? Because sometimes it can give the wrong idea to people. It can say to people that person has a mental health problem, which actually sticks to you. So instead of venting and saying bad things over the internet, well, do not vent. Just say what you have to say. Let let others offer you help, but do not keep others, having to tell you, you know, maybe you should do this, you should do that. So because when they vent, actually, they invite people to comment.
That's such a great point. You are inviting people to actually give their opinion. And so with the opinion comes a lot of judgment. And another thing is sometimes people will put posts and they won't actually name the other person. They'll say, oh, this situation happened with this person and they did this and then I did that. And they forget that the other person is an actual human being who maybe did not give approval for you to go and put whatever it is that happened. And people forget about that. So I think working on how we express ourselves through the holiday blues, or even when we're happy, just acknowledging the fact that what are we putting out into the universe that we are now getting people to give their opinions and give their judgment about.
You are right, because the thing is that, first of all, when you talk about someone, as I always say, if I walk in a meeting and they are talking about someone that is not in the meeting, I say, let me call that person, let me invite that person. We can continue the conversation about that person with that person giving their own opinion. And you know what? It stops the conversation right away.
I love that you shared that. That is spot on. There is no point in gossiping. It doesn't add any value. But I can't believe our first episode together is already over. Can you?
Yes, it is really, it's very nice. It is absolutely wonderful having you and with me and co-hosting with you. I love it. I really loved it with Caroline, but I love it also with you. It is amazing. So thank you for our viewers. Thank you for watching the show. And I hope that you have learned something from this discussion where Dr. Jacalyn and myself have actually came into deep subjects about, the truth, the truth about, the joy and melancholy that comes after the holidays, because the thing is that it's not always how it looks. So you will actually be happy to know that others have the melancholy, others have joy, and are also sad. So you are not alone, and you can have help, and there are helplines, but there are also people like myself at 1514-582-6882, or Dr. Jacalyn also, that can help you. She can be joined through the station. So thank you very much, and see you next week.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day. Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.